we didn't plan this, but just want to give a shout out, a quick rest in peace to old boy Sean Connery. He is a Russian submarine commander, so he's kind of both sides of this movie.
Yeah, may he pilot that Russian submarine wherever he landed.
The gun is good, and so was he.
Welcome back to Beards and Brews. This week's review is going to be GoldenEye from 1995, a Bond picture. We finally made it, fellas.
Wait, we were supposed to watch a movie? I just played the video game.
Dang,
Choo
dude.
choo. Fucking
Well,
double oof 7.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm in the minority, but GoldenEye 007 for the 64 might have aged like milk.
I have never once in my life actually played it. I was just saying shit. I know it was a popular video game. I don't like first-person shooters in the first place, so whatever.
You know what I always hated about 007, GoldenEye the game? Was the fucking way the stick worked. So you would aim at
just
someone
one.
and jerk back to the center. I hated that.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, you only had the one analog stick, so, like, you could move around, but, like, any fine detail, you had to, like, stop and just kind of, like, look in the corner of your eye. Your GoldenEye.
Oh. Is that
My
a
brown
euphemism for like a butthole? Brown eye. I don't know.
Gonna have to ask Tina Turner on that one.
My GoldenEye! Nut bush.
So, yeah, this is a James Bond movie. Like, in context, I suppose, James Bond at the time had a huge falling out. Like, the last two was with another actor, Timothy Dalton.
Evidently, this was the biggest gap in James Bond movies like ever. As far as I hear.
Yeah, like if anybody's out there seen the previous two, like License to Kill or Living Daylights, they're actually not bad. They're more akin to like the Daniel Craig stuff. Like he's super like gritty and realistic, but nobody was ready for it. Nobody liked it. So I guess 6 years later, they're just like, hey, let's kind of reset it and make him suave and goofy again.
Yeah, this is actually, I've only ever seen 3 James Bond movies. I saw Goldfinger, I saw Casino Royale, and then this is number 3. So each one with a different James Bond, and each one definitely with its own tone. This one being the closest to Austin Powers.
Okay, good. Thank you. He's definitely like this over-the-top sexual predator. There's a giant dick space weapon. Like the fucking Q or whatever with all of his gadgets. It's just nonsense. This is my lunch, James. I don't know why I was Michael Caine-ish, but you know.
Dude,
And
that
the,
joke fucking lands, though. I love it.
Famke Janssen with her like I don't remember her name, but her last name's on a top. Yeah,
I think it was Xena or something.
Xena on a top. Like where can I have you on a top? I don't know.
Yeah, there's like a lot of classic James Bond hallmarks that they can't get away with nowadays because Austin Powers was so fucking popular. And like, I'm totally glad you brought up that James Bond is a sexual predator because goodness, some of these situations, all of these situations do not make a fucking lick of sense.
Thank you. I'm glad
There
that you
is
corrected
not a
it to
scene-
Paul.
There is not a scene in this movie where he is alone with a woman, with a female, aside from maybe, what's her name, Q, M, I don't know, Judi Dench, where he is not trying to plow. Like, he's trying to get it in with every woman he has a scene with.
I don't know. That little scene with like he and M, pretty tense if you tell me.
Little
She's
scene.
like, get the fuck out of here, James, and take that big hog of yours with you.
That's
I
good.
just want to hear Dame Judi Dench in her cat outfit talk about someone's hog.
No. Disgusting.
James,
Ew.
you're not being very jellical.
Oh,
yes.
Jellicle Bond.
Well, I guess story-wise, we catch up to James Bond in a mid-mission, and he's sneaking up on this big hydroelectric dam that's guarded by nobody.
Bro, even whenever we watched this together, Eric, that was the first thing that even you brought up. You're like, how is there fucking no one, literally no one, at this dam that he's breaking into?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I guess the best place to hide is in plain sight, but there's nothing there. They're in the middle, like, the Alps. and he's just like running across the road like it's some kind of tourist attraction. Like there's nothing, not even a gate.
I think this scene is supposed to take place in Switzerland, from what I've read. Maybe that's just like the neutral zone. They don't expect anyone to be there.
The way he gets down, and this is what, 95, right?
Yeah.
So I was right. Yeah, he goes down the dam, and I was like, wait a minute, he's ripping off Universal Soldier.
Could that be the case?
Yeah, Universal Soldier came out in 92 and had a scene very similar but better where they all rappelled down with their guns and shit to take over a dam.
Maybe because, like, watching this movie, you do notice that, yeah, there's like Bond hallmarks, yeah, there's a lot of cliche stuff, but this is a definite 90s action movie. It cannot get away.
Like, this even gives me, like, Mission Impossible vibes.
Oh, I don't know. Like, MI is fucking choice. I really like that movie. This movie is like MI light.
To me, it is literally what they based Austin Powers off of. This movie, like, he rappels down a fucking dam. It's so many ridiculous situations. He breaks into the ventilation system somehow, and you get the literal who does number 2 work for scene.
Yeah. But you keep using the word rappel. He bungee jumped. He was just having a good time. He just happened to, end up all the way down there with his gun drawn.
He's
just on vacation.
Blah, blah, whatever. But yeah, like, he can just kind of like, he breaks in super easily, punches a dude out, taking a shite, and like, he's bonding through the hallways, and he gets to this dark room, and this guy's like, hey, I'm a bad guy. Just kidding. I'm Scene Bean, also a bad guy.
We don't know that he's a bad guy yet. Like, at this point, I just thought that it was going to be a buddy cop movie. Like, 007 has his 006.
Oh, a buddy cop. It's Bond and Bean. Bond and Bean.
So, you're talking about buddy cop? I had the buddy cop title, okay? Because everyone felt this vibe. It's 6 and 7, 00 Buds.
Ooh. 00 Buds. It sounds like a fucking Cheech and Chong spy movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
This is fucking over the top. Like, it's so... Like, don't get me wrong. Some of these action set pieces are absolutely amazing. No one's acting is bad. There's nothing terrible about this movie. It's just the way shit happens as you're watching the film. You cannot help yourself but go, no?
Now, my reaction is more like, huh, so that's how they're playing that.
Yeah, like, this movie's definitely caught up in itself. Like, it's almost like stuck in its own convention. So, like, you get this vibe of, like, it's trying to be but it's also tethered to its own history, that kind of thing. So it can't really do anything too special, but it's also just trying to push the envelope. So you get this like weird gray area through most of the movie.
Like, if Austin Powers is a caricature of, the James, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. This is like a lighter level caricature of all the James Bond movies, but then Austin Powers is just like this massive caricature of this film exactly.
High five. Agreed. So that was Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we meet up with Sean Bean. Turns out he's 006. Not as good as 7, but completely better than 5. And they just kind of like skulk around this dam, and they just bust into random rooms, killing random people. I'm just like, that dude probably had 5 kids to feed or something. I don't know. I don't
like,
these aren't necessarily
know what's going on here, to be honest. Like, I don't know why they're there, what they're doing. Doesn't really matter, right?
Just a bit later, we find out it's like 6 years previous, or 9 years, something like that. So this is like deep into the Cold War, and they're Russians, they're bad because they're Russian.
Submarine commander.
Yes, for submarines, James. We could have seen later, whenever he's escaping the dam. We'll get there in a moment. But he's literally, it shows a fucking top-down view of him running across this dam. It's a fucking dam. That's all there is to it. On left side, there's some roads. Right side, there's a road. Behind it, of course, is water. In front of it, it's a gigantic drop and more water. And then suddenly, he's outside on this gigantic snowy opening. And I was so fucking confused at what was happening.
It's like every bad guy place just has to have a bad guy vista. It's just what it is.
But where'd it come from? Like, did the dam somehow lead him to a different part of the world and they didn't explain that?
So 006 winds up getting captured.
I can't explain that.
Like, I know it's absurd, but like, if we're gonna get hung up with like absurdity in this movie, we're just gonna keep just like getting hung up on everything, because like most of the stuff that happens in the movie is just downright ridiculous.
Dude, to me, the biggest ridiculousness in this film is the big plot twist. Whenever that happened, I remember watching it with you. I was like, wait a minute, why? Why is this even happening? This is unnecessary.
Yeah, at this point, we've got Sean Bean gets captured, yada, yada, yada. Some guns are fired. James Bond escapes. He does something and repels a bunch of like garbage cans full of noxious gas into this room so he can escape down a conveyor belt, do some James Bond shit.
And I gotta give it a wee bit of credit. The scene is kind of cool. They're in a room full of explosive stuff, so James Bond ekes away by hiding behind some explosive stuff, so they can't just like blow his head off or nothing. So, you know, it was kind of a cool moment. But then it's immediately interrupted by him going, bang, 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 bang. Oh no, we're going to be comically smashed by a bunch of barrels. Oh, geez, he's escaped again. Ah, man, geez.
Whoever designed this, why did they include the mechanism that would allow, like, just one simple thing to have all of these cans full of noxious gas or whatever it is just fly through the air?
Yeah,
so James Bond starts
like
running after an airplane.
Okay, so before we gloss over this, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Bean is captured, shot in the fucking head.
Doing what Sean Bean does best.
Shot in the head. All right, leaving it there. Please continue to the awesome, like, for real, super fucking cool action scene.
Now, the way James Bond escapes, just like Chandler mentioned, is that he takes a conveyor belt conveniently placed in the room to outside, because that's what they do. At the same time, someone that had a plane in the middle of takeoff, so James Bond, of course, runs after it, because this man can run 400 miles an hour.
Yeah, and he pulls Hoagie out of the fucking biplane while he's trying to fly to Amity Island.
I don't remember how the pilot is incapacitated, but it
Judo
falls.
chop.
Okay, it falls off a cliff. You got James Bond jumping off of this cliff after it, like hoping to fall at a faster rate than the plane is falling for several seconds. The only reaction that I have to this is, do fucking what now?
Yeah, but if we're going to get hung up on all the ridiculousness, you're going to miss the cool part. Because he jumped the fucking cliff into a plane that he then pulled up, flew away.
Not only did he fly away, but he pulled up and flew around and gave everybody the middle finger as the title credits rolled.
Fact. And the whole dam explodes.
Kablooey. Also, Tina Turner.
She won awards for that.
I must have missed that part. The dam exploded?
Something exploded. The whole place exploded. The facility.
Yeah,
We've got probably thousands of people downstream who are now homeless, dead, or otherwise because of James Bond.
Look, man, you just have to treat it like the Death Star. They had it coming.
It doesn't matter. The Swiss.
Now they got a car commercial that's a date, and this is kind of cool. I like how they're driving. It's really fun. Famke Jensen, or Famke, however you say her name, she is gorgeous. But the music to this fucking scene in particular is atrocious.
Like, it's like fucking hacker hip hop. Like, what the fuck am I listening to? I'm glad you picked up on that, because I didn't know what was happening to my ears.
It was so bad.
It was so just extra 90s. And like at the same time, John Bond, James Bond's trying to be extra suave and whatever. Like, he's on, like, not necessarily date, like, he took a psychiatrist out for, like, a nice squiggly road drive, and in the middle of it, he's interrupted by some lady in, like, a Ferrari F355, I think, or something like that, and he's like, a sexier lady. Let's go.
To me, this is straight up National Lampoon's Vacation, when, like, his wife is in the passenger seat asleep, and he's just like, ooh, Christy Brinkley, or whoever it is. I'm gonna make some eyes at you.
Holiday Road, whoa!
Except for this works out in his favor. Like, the shrink, or whoever she is, she's like, oh my god, James, drive carefully. He's like, I can't, baby. She's like, hit the brakes. He's like, I did. Look, champagne and dick. And she's like, I'm on it.
Yeah, no kidding. She was like all about it, even though they, I don't know, almost crashed 4 times. They almost suspect the other lady's dead, and they also ran over all Tour de France.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only way that John Bond Jovi can get his nuts.
And at the same time, like, the reason why they kind of crossed paths or whatever is because, what's her name? Xena or whatever, she's evil, and she wants to steal a helicopter. We don't know why yet, but she wants it.
Which,
I mean, I want a helicopter, but I'm not going to steal one. I mean, I might. We'll see.
we're treated to like a quote-unquote sex scene. And I want nothing more than to see this lady in a sex scene, but when you get to watch it, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's almost like you're watching people work out. Like they're trying to lift something heavy. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like, she's scratching at him, and then she hits him up with some like thigh master leg lock, and he's like, oh, I can't breathe. And she's like, I'll crush your hips. I don't fucking know. It was weird.
Yeah, I'll
She's
tell
like,
you,
for motherland.
she's really feisty, really aggressive. I am absolutely into it. Except the guy looks like a fucking ginger Paul Giamatti. So
He does.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm not
man.
sure how they got together.
All sorts of little fetishy kink things through the whole movie, which make her like super attractive, like biting on her
Yeah.
finger and just this seductive smile. She works like so well for this.
Oh, there's just some random stuff. Like, he's like, oh, he's trying to derail us. It's just like, and everybody else is completely just like clueless to it or whatever. She's over just having a nut.
Yeah. Cut to James Bond sneaking onto a yacht and getting into a fight with some guy you have no clue who he is. And he beats him up. And after he beats him up, he's just like, oh, look, I beat you with a towel. Dab, dab. I wiped off my fucking tiny misting of sweat.
Like this guy wasn't even a bad guy. He's just a deckhand taking care of the boat. And James Bond tosses his ass down a flight of stairs.
I like how he gives that like basic line that you get in every video game. Oh, you shouldn't be here, and then just immediate death.
That's what happens when you're an NPC. You just get the dick into the stick and you get your spine broke off.
Think how terrible that is, though. You got a job. What's your job? Oh, I cleaned the boat. You're on the boat. Somebody's there. You're like, hey, you're not Mr. Franklin. And he's like, I snapped your neck.
Yeah. That poor man had a family.
And
No chance.
Oh, here's a question. You guys might know, because I haven't watched a lot of Bond films other than the Daniel Craig films. Does James Bond get caught in every movie?
It's like a trope, yeah. Like, you know,
I
where
like
he's like
that.
either interrogated or,
He gets snagged up like 3 or 4 times in this one.
for sure, yeah. It's like a thing. Like in most spy thrillers, quote unquote, you know, they're always getting caught and have to wriggle their way out of stuff. You
Then
know,
the
just to
bad guy
cause
leaves
tension.
the room with just enough time for James Bond to escape.
That fucking happens in this movie in the worst possible manner, and we will get to that.
Yeah.
Good God, that Russian guy with the big nose is an idiot. He
You
fucking
remember
deserves the
Colonel
ass kicking.
Colonel Ugly?
Yes, absolutely. But on the other side of the world, the other half of the plot's happening. We go to Russia, where we see Alan Cummings
Yeah, he
hacking
is.
away because he's a hacker, like a '90s hacker too. He even says that thing where it's like he smashes on his keyboard a bunch. He's like, "I'm Insky" or something like that.
Yeah, he's in a room with, I guess this is like a space weapons command center with a bunch of, I don't fucking know.
No, I know. It's just like, hey, what's this? Oh, the Russian Space Force.
Yeah. We've got Alan Cummings, who is. This is not the role for him. I feel like this is not the role for him.
He's just Russian nerd. Don't worry
Russian
about it.
nerd.
He
Yeah.
is skinny Nedry.
Yes, you know, like everything. Like he even dicks over people for his own
Yep.
monetary gain. Yes.
Gotta know the magic word.
Slug heads.
But we've got like 2 other characters in there, 2 women. I don't know. One of them's hot, one of them's slightly less hot. They're both Russian. I don't know what they do. They're like computer people.
They hack. They're over there hacking. They're in charge of this thing called the GoldenEye.
Oh shit!
Wow, he said it. And like as they're just hacking away, minding their own business, fucking Sergeant Ugly in the fucking Russian brigade or whatever shows up and decides to steal it, even though it was theirs to begin with.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, now, I think there's something important that we need to differentiate here. Okay, at the beginning, those were the Soviet Union. That was members of the Soviet Union. This is after the Cold War now. This is Russia. But from what I understand, the bad guy in this still has allegiances to the Soviet Union.
True. Very true.
Yeah, when they reveal, like when I guess the GoldenEye takes off its coat or whatever it is up there in space, it's got the CCCP lettering on it.
That's why when the elevator opens up, they're just like, no Russian. Chug, 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 chug.
Yeah, fucking old girl just unleashes getting her blood nut. Hey, brought it back. And fucking AK-47s everybody in the room except for Skinny Nedry and the quote-unquote hot chick who hides. And then someone gets shot in the vent, and she's like, I ventilated them like fucking Milja Jokovic in The Fifth Element.
I thought you were going to say that was such an Arnold kind of line.
No, but it doesn't land. It's really bad.
No. And so they set the place to like self-destruct. They make the GoldenEye shoot the little satellite dish that they're working on, and it turns out it's not necessarily like a laser gun. It's like a giant EMP device. So it just wipes out all the circuitry and all the computer stuff. So like there's no trace of anything whatsoever.
Except for another satellite is just watching them do it, and they're like, huh, what happened here?
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
It looks like there's still one little heat bump in there so that we can see a person.
And Bond is like, heat bump, turns around, full erect.
For real. Dude, and you want to talk about full erect. He's in the elevator with fucking Moneypenny, and she's like, James, what you're saying is disgusting, and it's sexual harassment. There's punishment for that. And he was like, oh yeah? Well, what's that? And she's like, you're going to have to fuck me for real. And I was like, what the fuck?
You'll have to make good on your sexual innuendos.
I know this movie tried to like write women as progressive, but like they start out on the note that they want to write it on. It's just like, oh, Dickin.
Let's make everyone horny.
Hog. James Hog. 007.
Oh, disgusting. James, you're going to horny jail. Bonk. But we find out like the reason why they wanted the helicopter, because this helicopter is impervious to EMP devices, so it can just escape and just get away.
They're free, and the chick, like everything's falling in, and the quote-unquote hot chick crawls out, like the ending of the thing. Everything's blown up. There's snow everywhere, but there's like fire, and she follows the fire to a pack of sled dogs, and then Kurt Russell shows up.
Yeah, she comes up to the pack of sled dogs, and she's just like, huh.
I'm on board with the whole Kurt Russell thing. Like, she tries to steal the dogs, and Kurt Russell's like, cheating, bitch. GoldenEye, credits are rolling.
Something's wrong here, but neither of us are in shape to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So just so that we're not calling her the hot girl through the whole movie, because there are a few. Her name is Natalia. Natalia.
It's such a regular Russian name.
Yeah.
It's like Natalia or Natasha.
Yeah. And we already had Boris, which is Alan Cumming. He's Boris.
She would be referred to as Bond's Dick Garage.
Why? Because it's not going to stay there, but it'll go in and out every once in a while?
Yep.
Okay.
So, of course, you know, MI6 was like, well, there's some funny shit going over there, Bond. Get on it. And he's like, yeah, let me go see that heat bump. Flies all the way to Russia, meets up with a CIA operative played by American. And, you know, they have a couple laughs, you know, haha, you're British, haha, you're an American, show me your ass tattoo. Thanks, buddy, all right.
And he's not just, like, American. I feel like he puts on this extra, like, I'm from fucking Texas or something, Alabama, I don't know, man. I'm super American.
In my notes, he is referred to as Cowboy, and the only credit I give him is the fact that he will not call him James, he calls him Jimmy, and Jimbo.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, because it cuts him down. Like, he doesn't have the edge. He's just like, whatever, I kind of respect you, but fuck you anyway.
Yeah, you're from the fucking colonies. So why are you talking to me like this?
He's like, James, I haven't cared about your opinion since 1776.
Everything before that was a mistake.
Yes. But it turns out that, you know, the James Bond's dick piece for this film has escaped to an IBM.
She had to run inside the sponsorship for the movie, that's all.
There's a couple of those in here, yeah.
Oh yeah, they got a shill. And she emails not Pee Wee Herman. And he's like, come to a church. But of course, it's a trap.
There's like a lot of like Benedict Arnold kind of stuff, like playing different sides. Like, oh yeah, he's this one guy. Oh, he's working for the bad guys. Dang, you got me.
So one thing that I missed, I think, is how Alan Cummings' character got out of there. How is he still alive?
He's in on it.
He went out. Yeah, he went out for a smoke, and he threw everybody under the bus for his own life.
Okay.
He's a baddie.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I knew he was a baddie when we got to the end. I just didn't know at this point that he was a baddie. I just thought that I was just like, how did he get out of there? Everyone else died, and we saw how she did it.
In the meantime, James Bond has decided to set up a meeting with a guy who wants to kill him because he shot him in the leg, as John Wick would put it, a professional courtesy.
Oh yeah. As soon as he said that, I was like, is that where they got it? Of all places? Fucking GoldenEye?
I mean, it's a good line. It's just, there's a lot of weird shit in this movie.
Yeah, there is. I mean, the guy that he's meeting with is basically PS1 Hagrid.
Oh, man. And one of y'all, I fucking know it, one of y'all hates Minnie Driver. And she's singing in the background. She's the cowgirl.
Oh, really?
Yep. Stand by your man.
Yeah,
like, I remember the name, and I saw this scene. I just didn't put two and two together. It was not good. That was not a good performance.
It was, but I think it was supposed to be like that. Played for laughs, because like, oh, that's just my mistress back there, just being a hooer. Get the fuck out of here. And she's like, and just leaves.
She does do a bleh.
And you know, they have like a little back and forth, and you're like, it's like, I hate you, but I need you, but like, come work with me, we'll get you some money, yada yada. He works out a deal so James Bond can get deeper into this whole like Russian conspiracy.
I bet he's about to get deeper in a hole.
Famkees, or Famkees, or however you want to put it. They show up at a fucking Turkish bath, and she's like, guess what? I'm gonna put the squeeze on you.
It's so weird every time she tries it. Like, I just don't understand how like he's so complacent. Like she's obviously trying to do something, and then she just like wraps around him like an octopus and just like. Rah!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is exactly how we meet Ivana Humpalot. Is that right?
And this is really weird because she's like, "Grr, give me the dick," and he's like, "My hog's not for you, baby." Yeah, and slams her on the ground.
But what about this book, Austin? It's titled Austin Powers and My Hog is Definitely for You, baby. Yeah.
Because.
But yeah, it's very unclear here whether or not they're trying to fight or they're trying to fuck. And
well, he was there to fuck. She was there to kill. So like, there's just like weird awkward moment where he's like, no, no, no.
She couldn't wrap her legs around his giant hog, and that's why she was like, oh, so mad.
He's got the anger boner.
Oh no.
So, before we get too carried away, he's like, all right, bitch, that's it. You're going to take me to meet up with whoever you're in cahoots with. And she's like, I guess. And
oh, no, she was just like, bitchki.
That's so bad. She's like, bitchki. And then they're there, and he's like, some back and forth. And she goes, you'll never get the way. He goes, don't worry about it, bitch. Judo chop. And she just fucking whack, and she's out.
Yeah, like for real, like an actual judo chop to the back of the neck, and then bunk, she's out on cold on the steering wheel.
Well, guess what? Surprise! Sean Bean isn't dead. He's just now.
Oh shit!
Two-Face.
Oh no, he's ugly. He's bad now.
But he's not even really ugly. The burn's very small, and you know, like he's blaming James. And this is where again, me and you had this conversation. Where like, I don't know. He's like, James, you did this to me. You left me. Dude, you got shot in the face.
It was actually a blank. But the thing is, I mean, it has to be assumed, or else he had like a big crater in his forehead. Like, I think, because like you find out like General Ugly was in on it too. So I think this was a big setup, because he did say in that scene that like he was going to ask him, James Bond, to join him.
All those guys were trying to shoot Sean Bean.
Mulligan?
Yeah, he's like, hey, this isn't part of the plan.
And like this whole scene is actually really cool. Like the setting, they're in like this big field of like broken Soviet Union icons, and he's kind of like walking through, and the curtain had just fallen not too long ago. So like this whole atmosphere is really cool. Then Sean Bean just shows up and is like, "Hey, you fucked with my face. I'm mad."
Also, my parents are dead. Dead parents.
Can somebody clear that up for me a little bit? Who killed Sean Bean's parents? Was it the Brits or the Soviets? Stalin?
Turns out it was capitalism. That's his whole spiel, is that like after 1945, the Soviets kind of got fucked by everybody else, which I don't know if that's true or not. And their parents wind up getting killed in like this scuffle, and then he used his revenge boner to get a job at MI6, and they looked over his family history to become a 00 agent, and that whole spiel at the dam was just like the zenith of his plan that James Bond fucked him over in.
Is he English? I was really confused about this. Is he originally like Russian?
His bloodline is, but I think he, as a child, had already moved to England because he was orphaned when his family.
English? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
King in the North.
King in the North.
Yeah, I just don't understand why he's so pissed, to be honest. He's like, "Oh, my face, I'm so ugly." But like, as you mentioned earlier, it's not that bad. It's the kind of scar that gets you laid at a pub, It's like, hey, you know how many wars I've been in? Check this shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he keeps bees? That's kind of hot. Summer, I'm going to fuck your dad.
Oh, shit. I got to start keeping bees.
You got to start off small, like 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
Bros.
If you're nice, I'll put you a flower in there every once in a while.
Chandler starts keeping bees. He's the Chandy Man bitch.
Now it has to happen.
Well, James gets tranquilized, by the way, and he wakes up in a helicopter to the sound of his soon-to-be Dick Garage screaming at him, but she cannot keep her accent.
And they're stuck in that helicopter that they try to steal, and it's set to like self-destruct for whatever reason or some shit. And like James Bond, like in his drunken stupor, is just like slamming around, pressing random buttons, and eventually he hits the right one, and they like seat eject, not even into safety, into the arms of the enemy again.
Which is ridiculous, because he's like, haha, out of the frying pan into the fire, and Colonel Ugly there, like, I've got you now, but he's such a fucking horrible villain.
He is. He doesn't even know how to stick to his own plan. Like, the whatever advisor or whatever was like interrogating him, getting all this information. Kill, but wait, if I stay alive and shoot myself, it'll look like you did all this. And then James Bond just whips his ass.
And he goes, I suck at being a bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't really understand his whole plan there.
Run, shoot. James Bond's in a tank, and it's cool as shit.
Yes. Let's
Absolutely.
talk about Escape Tank.
Yeah. So they escape the building, a lot of gunfire, they get separated. Natalia, whatever, she gets kidnapped for the fucking zillionth time. And James Bond's just like, hey, I have a tank now.
Yeah, but usually I feel like you're driving the tank from the inside. I don't know if Russian tanks are any different, but he's driving this tank from, like, not the inside.
Well, I mean, like, I get that, like, the tank controls are a bit lower, but he's just, like, controlling it with this big fucking hog, apparently.
Exactly. He is just fucking that tank into submission. He has put it into the turret of the tank and is steering it that way.
It's so brilliant.
Smashing through the brick wall. Fuck yes. That is epic.
Oh, yeah!
Explode. Yes. Yes. Kool-Aid Man style. And anything that this tank is touching, now mind you, Pierce Brosnan can be standing up out of it, doing what the fuck ever. It doesn't matter, because as long as this tank is on screen, cool shit is happening. And it's on screen for about 5 minutes. Get you for 5 whole minutes of playtime.
We get another little bit of product placement here where he drives his tank through a truck of Perrier, and the Perrier just goes everywhere, but everywhere where you can clearly see that this is Perrier.
Now, it's okay. Like, they can get away with it because, like, James Bond's a little bit of like a, I don't know, like a spearhead sometimes. And like, this is like, it culminates into this moment to where like, hey, let's escape through this alleyway. Man, the tank's too big for that. He's like, bullshit. And fucking just drives through like 7 houses to get to the car on the other side.
I just want to say yes, yes, yes. Like when he goes through that fucking tunnel and he's literally carving his own path through the brick.
Yeah, and the guy in the car's losing his shit. I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is fucking action. It's really good.
Yeah, like this movie has some incredible set pieces. Like this is fucking top tier. If you saw this in a movie even in 2020, you'd go, God damn, that's fucking awesome. Now, I want to talk about the stuntman, Eric.
Which one?
The one that we had to look and see if he got ran over by the tank.
Oh, the guy in the car?
Yes, in the cop car, whenever the tank comes up over it, there's like 3 dudes sitting in a cop car. Movie magic, whatever, maybe they're not even really people in it. And the tank goes, and it looks like the tank's supposed to just hit like the backside of it, but it goes up the back right over the driver's side and squishes everything.
Actual murderer James Bond. I guess he gets away with it just because he blames it on his hog.
I didn't kill him, baby. My hog did. And they're like, that thing is enormous.
Yeah,
Get out of this.
Bond is responsible for so many innocent casualties in this movie.
Just the tone of being fed up with it. That's what's killing me.
So, next we've got Sean Bean on a train. Is that... I don't understand. Like, I forget a lot of the reasons why things are happening. I know that things happen, but reasons, who the fuck needs them?
The general bad guy was supposed to kill those 2 there, but it didn't work out because, tank. Both he and Natalia flee to Sean and the Bean Brigade on their fucking evil train in the middle of somewhere. James Bond's like, hey, I'm going to outrun this train with a tank.
And he does, because it's Dr. Lovelace's train from Wild Wild West, and it takes a minute to get going.
Yeah. For some reason, this train looks like fucking Sam the Eagle from the Muppets. Like, I didn't understand this fucking design choice.
Yeah, it looks real weird. Like, it looks like... No, I was thinking more like Nose Pass, the Pokemon. It just straight up strong nose.
I know what you're talking about, Chandler. And Eric, I know what you're talking about. And I give the edge to Eric. It does look like that fucking Muppet Eagle.
Yeah, like, I get that they're trying to be like very utilitarian, super robust Russian shape for this train to make it look imposing or whatever. Kind of like the Russian thing from Pacific Rim.
Oh, yeah, it was like thicker. It's like, what is your robot? He is pain.
Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, like, this train is on the move already. Like, they get on board and they fucking hoof it. They get to this tunnel and James Bond is like, oi! And just starts blasting away. Like, without any regard to the lives of the people on board, including the woman that he wants to bone.
Yeah, like, on the train, alright. Sean Bean does a little bit of, like, rapey business there, and he's, like, kissing her up, and it's like, James and I share everything. Yeah. And then once James Bond starts, like, pounding away at this train, she's like, he's going to derail us, and she sounds so fucking horny about it too. Like, that's what's going to get her off, being on a derailed train.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. She just has like a blood nut in the middle of the room, and Sean Bean's just like, fucking ram him.
This was over the top in the sense that James shoots the first car with the cannon of the tank, and then it immediately shows him up the train tracks a quarter of a mile. And I was curious how he made that distance so quick. And he's only 10 foot from the tracks, mind you, and this train's about to derail.
It just happened.
Yeah.
You just gotta let movie sometimes, I guess, and this is one of those times.
It was really weird, and the train crashes, and then James Bond is suddenly on the train with rapey Sean Bean, and I don't get it. Are all 00 fucking agents rapists? Sexual predators? He's like,
it might be in the job description at this point because I'm thoroughly convinced.
Fucking weird. James and I share pussy. Just like, all right, man, we get it.
In that case, why didn't he hang out with 009? It could be like a fucking 0069 thing.
Oh, nice.
69, dude. But James has to make a choice. He can either shoot the 2 baddies, and Famik seems to be into that, or he can... Whatever. Or sexy lady, is super into it. We'll call her Thigh Master, and then he wants to either shoot those two, or he's got to shoot the other one.
And to be honest, if you think about it, if he would have blown Sean and fucking Thigh Master away, the general would have fucking folded.
Oh,
like,
100%.
Immediately. Like, that dude has no fucking balls whatsoever. He'd just be like, oh, the jig is up, and just fucking hightail it out of there.
Well, not only that, but when the security and safety of the world is on the line and your job is to save the world at all costs, you shoot the fucking bad guy. You
Yeah,
just
for sure.
do.
But, like, there's several times in this movie where, like, they have guns drawn on each other and just like, guess what? Monologue.
Yes. That's how he escapes in the beginning, and that's how he escapes later. It's kind of funny, though.
I guess that's how they get their rocks off. Like, they have to have the last word. Like, it makes no sense. If you want to shoot, don't talk.
Yeah, I appreciate John Wick for that. He goes through the entire movie to go kill fucking Reek, and he's just like shooting everybody. And you think there's going to be this long drawn out thing, and it's not. He just walks up, plip plip, and he's done.
Absolutely. But this movie, it's just so fucking held up in its own goddamn convention. You have to have these moments where they're just like, hey, let's chew the scenery, old sport. Ah, he got away. Ah, that James. He's silly.
We'll try again tomorrow.
Which is perfect because tomorrow never dies.
You know what? That joke was golden.
Well, appropriate for GoldenEye. What I've got here today from Golden Road Brewing Company, Golden State Cerveza. This is actually a new beer from them. Haven't had it yet. This is a Mexican-style lager, 4.8% alcohol by volume. You know, pretty crisp, clear-looking beer.
You can definitely tell it's Mexican by those fancy words like cerveza.
Yeah. Very clean, very light tasting. Not as much of that, like, in a lot of Mexican-style lagers, you get a lot of that sort of cloying corn sweetness. You really don't get a whole lot of that with this. It's just balanced. There's not a whole lot of flavor there, so don't get it twisted. Like, this isn't anything mind-blowing, but it's really clean, crisp, super drinkable. That's what I like in a good, drinkable, poundable beer. Probably good for a shower beer. I don't know that it would replace the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale as my standard shower beer, but it might be good for a golden shower.
Ew.
I don't know if that's my bag, baby.
Back to the train. And the shit's rigged to explode like everything in this movie. It's got a countdown. And he's like, we have to go. And she goes, hang on, I'm triangulating, because everyone knows how to triangulate, duh, his location. And apparently he's in Cuba. And then they jump out of the train. The train explodes into a quote-unquote train explosion, a new Death Clock single.
Ooh.
Nice.
They go over there and he's like, do you have to blow everything up, James? And he's like, it's standard operating procedure. And she goes, what else is standard operating procedure? And he's like, this dick, and whips out his hog.
He just starts kissing her. Like, he can't help himself. He's got to get some Tic Tacs. When you're a celebrity, they let you do anything. You can even grab him by the pussy.
Nah.
Fact.
So, of course, they have this location of Cuba, and he gets a hold of his CIA buddies. Like, there's no fucking thing over there. We're the CIA. We've been looking at Cuba for 60 years. Whatever. Thanks for the car. It's that way. Go get him, sport.
I got faith in you. They just take off in a plane, and they're in Cuba. And I don't know how they got to America, or at least 80 miles from Cuba. I don't know. But whatever. More sex on a beach this time.
This is something that I have to talk about. This scene. Okay, you arrive. The scene starts on this beach with James Bond and his new Natalia lady, and there's just this lingering shot of Natalia's crotch, like she's wearing a bikini, and it just starts there and ends there before it moves to James, and it's really awkward.
Where'd she get the bikini?
Standard issue.
Standard issue.
They have this pseudo awkward moment on the beach where they're trying to just like humanize each other, but like it legitimately makes no sense because they are racing against the clock to save the fucking world. and they're just sitting on the beach, chumming it up.
But here's the thing, they are racing against the clock, but they're also really horny.
Yes. And apparently James Bond is a werewolf from The Howling 2 because he takes his shirt off later and that man is just fucking hairy.
Yeah, between like him and Robin Williams, a la Mrs. Doubtfire, they're almost ape-like.
Oh, this was a run by Fruiton. Hello.
Hello. Once they get on the plane and start going to wherever they're going, the scenery here is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a
Absolutely.
rocket that comes out of the water, and you know,
Okay.
just like
Okay.
there's.
Oh yeah. I thought I was blanking out. Like, how did they land? Oh wait, they didn't.
Dude, can we talk the fact that they were hit with a direct fucking missile? It was like wham right into the fucking airplane, and they're like, "We're gonna have to put her down." What?
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Actually, the next 5 minutes or so are kind of whatever because the movie's just like, man, we really need to get to this big satellite dish. It's cool as fuck.
Yeah, they
So,
do.
like, you got fucking Thigh Master showing up or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna kill you with my fucking super legs. And they're just like, nah, not really. You're gonna get tied to this helicopter, or I'm gonna shoot it down with a lucky shot from this AK from 500 feet away.
Yeah, she
next
comes
scene.
back out of nowhere, and like you know, they have a little tussle with James again, and like she starts beating his ass, and then she licks him. I'm into it, but why?
Insert hog joke.
She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Yeah.
Oh, she was killed by being pulled into a tree.
No, she got killed by PG-13. Like in any other movie, she would just been ripped to shreds or just like sucked through that tree. It should just be like a greasy spot somewhere.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
But-
the line that James delivers, what you just said, she always did enjoy a good squeeze. Like Natalia just like looks back at him and is like, "Why would you say that? Like, what's wrong with you, James?"
Yeah, like the mood was definitely very dire. He's just like, joke, and she's just like, get in my garage.
I want that fucking missile that slammed into the side of the plane. I want you to slam that massive hog into me the same way while Nightcrawler raises this satellite and drains this entire goddamn lake in 3 seconds.
Oh god. And of course, the new GoldenEye is this ridiculously large. It's a real place. This big satellite dish, and like the whole gang's there. You have fucking Hackerski, Scene Bean.
He sees him coming and goes, "Go kill him." And all the guards are like, "Yep." And then they go get him, and they're like, "You're captured, James Bond." It's like, they said to kill him.
Yeah, like
Yep.
on site, and they bring him to him as a prisoner. He's like, "Oh, James, man, I'm really bad at British accents. They're just all gonna be cocky."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oi, James, look who it is. It's James. I just told you, it's you.
It's
Oi,
Michael
you know,
Caine.
yeah, it's just whatever. And they have like this little bit of like, it's not really like a bro moment, but like Sean Bean's into it way more than James Bond is.
And this is where another point that lost me. Okay, the chick is meanwhile hacking in the mainframe and no one fucking notices. But he's like got this genius plan to rob a bank. He's doing all this for money. The dude has a literal underground fucking lair, a satellite. He's been in a fucking dam. He's got entire access to military surpluses. Why does he need to rob a bank?
He's got all of this, and he's like, "I'm going to hold you hostage for $1 million."
It basically comes down to, as Sean Bean states, 006, he's like, I'm gonna send London back to the Stone Age. Evil laughter. And even James Bond was just like, you're just a fucking petty thief, you cunt.
Oh, and that sets him off. Talk about triggered.
Yeah, for sure. He's like, what?
And is this the scene where he's like trying to sort of turn Sean Bean and General Nose up against each other? And is like, Sean Bean, yeah, he's a fucking Cossack. Did you know that? Did you know he's a fucking Cossack?
And they're like,
Yeah, he's
whoa!
Really? Wow, that's crazy. I'm not going to do anything but die, but okay. And like, you know, Natalia gets captured. She puts like a little code on the GoldenEye, so it, you know, crashes in the earth instead of doing some dastardly deed. And all at the same time, I don't remember how, but Alan Cummings gets a hold of James Bond's grenade pin And after like 3 little clicks or whatever, it's an active grenade for 4 seconds. But after 3 more clicks, it resets the fuse because science happened.
You can see James Bond trying to like do the math in his head. All right, he did 3 clicks, 2 clicks, 2 clicks, 3 clicks.
Dude.
Fuck, that's 12 clicks. I don't know. Is it off or on? Shit.
Dude, like the scene works. I like him like sweating in front of Sean Bean super
yeah,
hard,
dude.
like giving him like the dirty eyes and everything. Just like it works. I love it. I almost wanted Sean Bean, as he's shoving the gun further into James Bond's face, kind of notice this shit. Because like a little before that, he's like, "Oh, what's Q got for you today? A fucking fancy watch and a fancy whatever. I'm gonna take all your gadgets." And like I thought he would put 2 and 2 together and kind of like foil the whole situation. But no, Alan Cummings is just like, I'm invincible, and fucking everything goes to shit.
The grenade pin blows up, and when it does, it literally goes from, James Bond slapping the pin, seeing an explosion, then a hard cut to them getting in an elevator. Okay.
I mean, I recognize they used the moment that they had before like all that gas blowing up to escape, but I feel like, at least in Natalia's case, there's no way she would have been on the same page at all, unless he just like grabbed her up by the scruff and fucking threw her on his hog and ran away.
Just impaled her and was like, let's go. Now, again, we can just start jumping around because a bunch of nonsense starts happening. There's like a crazy, one guy jumps on the lift, the other one's running up some, an embankment to the top of the satellite so they can redirect where this weapon is going to be pointing. And there's a chain link shootout, which is kind of cool. Now, there's one stunt here which I thought was fucking awesome, and I've never seen anything.
Stairs?
Yes.
The stair action roll was fucking spot on, edited perfectly. It doesn't look like a stuntman or anything. It's fantastic. It's the kind of thing like after he does it, you're like, oh shit, that hurts, but he has to keep on going. Go, James, go.
Yeah, it's a fucking head-first dive of about 6 to 8 feet into a roll for another 4 feet, and then a stand up and take off downstairs, and you go, wow, that was fucking cool. And now we can get into like some more fun things, which kind of blew my mind, because Ned Stark jumps down and starts just putting the fucking hands on James. He's just like,
the hands of Chain. Oh,
the hands of Chain. Yeah, okay. Just fucking, winter is coming. 1-2, 1-2. And he's like, I was always better than you, James. You a little bitch. And James is like, ladder escape, and drops down 20 feet to where he grabs onto a ladder. Now, I want to discuss with both of you just for a moment. Sean Bean escapes. Yes. But it's a futile escape. Because as he drops, or not Sean Bean, James Bond drops, he drops down. It's a futile escape because he's on like maybe a 50-foot ladder that leads to nothing. He can go nowhere. Yet Sean Bean, even with an attack chopper en route to assist him, decides to climb down the ladder to fisticuff James.
It's what I mentioned earlier. He just gets off on the moment. He has to have the last word, and he fucking loses his life over it. There's no sense in it whatsoever. And like he even had the super upper hand, because after James drops, he fucks up his arm, he tries to crawl back up, and Sean Bean does that cool like ladder slide or whatever. Yeah, knocks his shit down. He's on top of him, giving him the old 1-2 tugga, and like I just don't understand like how he was briefly distracted after years of hate and vengeance by a helicopter who's piloted by a guy who's about to get his brains blown out, just some random NPC, and he just foils himself immediately.
I'll be honest, this is probably where the movie was getting to me. Like, I was just kind of done with it. There is a big gap in my notes here, and I don't remember any of this shit. I probably
Oh no.
So let me fill you in, Chandler. James Bond's hog is so heavy and it keeps his center of gravity so low that when Sean Bean tries to attack him, he's like, ninja flip. And Sean Bean's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And he goes, yeah, you're gonna die. Is it for England, James? And he's like,
for my hog,
Marine commander. And he just drops him. And this dude falls, what would you say, every bit of 200 feet?
Oh, for sure. Like the dummy falls, it's clearly a dummy, and like I realized like when it hit the bottom of the satellite dish, his legs get fucked. Like they just started spaghetti and just like. Whop.
Yes, but he's not dead. He's just laying there like, I'm just in terrible pain. I'm not.
Yes, absolutely.
And James is like, Chopper Hop, you know what's going to be really cool? We're going to drop this satellite on you, bitch. And it blows up into a fireball and falls onto Sean Bean, burning him for the second time. So making him refried Sean Beans.
Oh, nice. I was saying who weren't.
I got a fucking exhausted from Chandler.
Yeah. He's had enough. This movie took him out.
Yeah, no, it did.
Oh.
But yeah, like James Bond escapes with his Bond girl. They hop down out of the helicopter. They land in some field. They make out a little bit. The CIA man comes up. He's like, hey, Plan B's here. They're like, what, the pill? No, the Marines. And they just all come out of the fucking shadow.
They land and start, like, getting into each other, start making out. And she says something like, I want you, James. And he's like, there's no one around for, 10 miles or anything. And then what's-his-name rolls up and is like, hey, I'm here. All right, Marines. And they're all, like, in these, like, leaf piles all around, like, fucking dozens of them surrounding them.
For sure.
It's like, well, that was awkward.
The CIA guy walks up and he's like, hey, if you want to, like, continue this, we can go on Guantanamo Bay, if you know what I mean.
He's taking her to Guantanamo to get waterboned.
Yeah, y'all want to finish debriefing? Without your...
You gonna fuck? There's gonna be some more fucking, right?
Like, yeah. So this movie, it suffers from just being a 90s movie. It suffers from being a Bond movie with like all this heritage it has to live up to. Bond comes off as a little rapey and a little just too well off, but like I guess there's a little charm in there. The action's really good. Some of the bad guys are just really fucking dumb. You know what? It's not terrible. It's pretty good.
I did have a lot of fun with it. This movie is probably way more fun than it is good. Like you said, James Bond comes off as really all horny on main. I guess that's what the kids are saying. Just like trying to fuck everything. And that's funny, I guess. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's whatever.
It's
out of the three you've watched.
Yeah, it's probably right in the middle.
For me, it had some of like the most impressive, especially that fucking tank action scenes that I've seen in like a movie. And especially for it to be a 90s film, this is a blast to see all these crazy things happening. It's very action oriented, and if you get away from the plot and the narrative and just watch it as a fucking attractive dude boning women, a recruitment tool for, MI6 or what the fuck ever, then yeah, you're gonna have a great time. I could see people really enjoying this film. To me, the biggest drawback is definitely like how muddled the film felt. But other than that, it's up there. It's pretty damn good. Except for the fact that I fucking hate Pierce Brosnan.
He tried to kill Miss Doubtfire.
Exactly. He's a fucking villain. He will always be a villain. Fuck him.
Well, there you have
it. Miss Doubtfire?
I mean, headcanon. So that was GoldenEye from 1995. If you have any strong feelings about the show or the movie alone, leave them in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. Be sure to hit that little bell icon too. Hit that fucking bell icon. So next time we got another one of these brewing.
Check us out on all of our different social media platforms. We got that Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and a Reddit. Got an administrator constantly pumping out new things, you guys. Almost as much as James is pumping out his big hog.
It turns out we didn't even watch it. This is just our fucking fan fiction.
Yeah, we just made it up.